It's an abusive relationship. You stay because you don't have anywhere to go.
24 million, I think, was dispersed for this program. Oh yeah.
We did not do our own financials, so we did not project.
We started day one with zero in our bank accounts.
Any supplier go to Canada, then the Barola what you need to Pick n Pay, I know some any business.
In August 2024, BOSA received a complaint from a group of former Pick n Pay mini market business owners who told heart-wrenching tales of how an empowerment program left them more disempowered than ever before. We agreed to meet with them at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature and heard how the men and women were used in an experiment gone wrong. So what happened? In 2016, Pick n Pay and the Gauteng Department of Economic Development signed an MOU for a local business program that was to provide township business owners with technology, finance, training, and coaching towards sustainable and competitive businesses. In essence, these business owners were promised support to start their own Pick n Pay mini market stores in the township. The department promised to facilitate grants and loans to the beneficiaries, as well as stock guarantee and an opportunity to supply school nutrition programs. Pick n Pay pledged to develop a township's PASA model and provide the following support to each beneficiary: logistics, access to market for locally produced products, training, marketing, and ongoing support. But as soon as the stores were open, the cracks began to show.
The store on the 20th of August. I can guarantee you by end of October. That's 2 months later. I remember Masisi is the one who started. She had to pull out 150,000 rand from her pocket to pay for rent, to pay for salaries. 2 months later. Talk about recklessness. 2 months later. The following month, which is November, I pulled out 150 from my own pocket.
Needless to say, most obligations in the MOU were not met. The program was discontinued. The owners are now in debt to the tune of millions because brand Pick n Pay stood as de facto surety for them to take hefty loans.
We did not do our own financials, so we did not project. Which is important. So it was done, the accountants and Pick n Pay. That's what we submitted to the funders. So it was not us saying this business. So it was them saying this is how we're gonna run your business. To a point that our salaries were there. You were told that you will earn 60 rand before whatever. Okay?
Sure.
That's important. Yeah, we did not do our own financials. So that was submitted to the funders.
The owners say they've been abandoned by government, fed to the vultures, their pleas for help ignored, blamed by Pick n Pay. They feel undermined.
The funders, they were there. And as he's speaking, and she says, no, but these are reckless and whatnot. It's reckless trading. The word reckless was just used recklessly. Reckless trading and whatnot, because I'm thinking also it's because black people just don't know how to manage funds, but that's a topic for another day. And I said to Zinke, I task you to come to our store and do the audit and see if we've done anything, if we've ever taken money from there, because your balance, your stuff is supposed to balance, but it's just not balancing. And when we ask these questions, now it's like we're opening up a can of worms. We'll investigate, the investigation just ends up in air.
They say things got so bad that when they eventually severed ties, Pick n Pay blacklisted them in the eyes of suppliers and funders.
Any supplier go to Canada, then the Barola what you need to Pick n Pay, I know some any business. For Albany, we had to rely to get our own cash accounts because of there was no ABI, everywhere go thing. There was no supplier no what offer stock.
Sure.
Because Pick n Pay is a business.
Yeah, after termination, they were feeling on. But I send it to all the suppliers. Yeah. Later, it's a cash, and nobody send it because of everything. Yeah, management accountant re kgone go ba fa information ya gore re reka ko kae re tsa ile bo mang le di accountant tse ne re di berekisa ne wana le information ya gore le really the managers.
And the funds that were given, actually, you would say they were given to Pick and Pay using our names because they have no trust in us, they had no interest in us succeeding. They were not interested in how Pick and Pay was treating us. Even though we communicated all this, they were not interested. And we did fight, we tried to go legal. As the market store owners, we came together, we tried to fight this. Like Kutratso said, from the CAPEX, how the funds were used, it was never consulted with us. It was Pick and Pay and the funders. And it should go on record that the money the funding that we received all went to the CAPEX budget. Nothing went to stock, nothing went to operational costs. So we started day one with zero in our bank accounts.
So what led to the demise of this program? According to the entrepreneurs, Pick and Pay imposed store promotions that forced owners to sell goods at cost or at a loss. Pick and Pay would deliver more stock than ordered and refused to take back the surplus. Despite agreeing to, Pick and Pay prohibited owners to order goods from other suppliers. There were also irregularities in Pick and Pay's invoicing. There was no support from the Gauteng government or Pick and Pay, only accusations, and the promised operational cost support did not materialize.
When we would cut down on our ordering, now they figured clever blacks probably, and then they would allocate stock to the store. So, e.g., you go with your budget and say, okay, no, we can only afford stock for 50,000 rands this week. They go and give you stock for 90,000 rands. You cannot retain that stock.
24 million, I think, was dispersed for this program. Oh yeah. If we can pay, was it 6? Was it more? 24 million. So those are the monies where when this thing started, there was money that was released to say this money must assist the stores. So
from Pick and Pay to the government.
No. The government, their contribution towards the program.
The question is, was this program a setup?
But the model was created intentionally so that you become indebted. Now, when this person who has drafted the business plan and did not include working capital is the creditor, your biggest creditor, what choice do you have but to stay? It's like being in an abusive relationship, right? It's an abusive relationship. You stay because you don't have anywhere to go. You're not independent. You cannot go outside. Even when you go outside, what are you going to do outside because you don't have the money? So it was created strategically to put you in debt.
Once again, the business owners are pleading with the state to help them resume trading so they can continue supplying communities, creating jobs, and revitalizing the township economy. They say with the lessons they've learned and experience they've gained, they're ready to scale their businesses.
We learned to actually understand margins, which is something that Pick and Pay never taught us. We were never taught. We were self-taught, all of this. Even the funders never found it necessary to sit down with us and teach us. We had to learn this by default. So we managed our stock and we learned what we should have, what we should not have, what sells and what doesn't. And also, we managed our financial affairs very well. So we learned to manage our finances on a daily basis, our cash flow, our management accounts. We maintain proper annual financial statements. We have all this. And we've also made sure that we comply with the government regulations, all the UIFs, your minimum wages. We try to do as much as we can.